And welcome back to the Mike Pressler Show here at Blackie's Bulldog Tavern. Mike Mancuso joined once again by head coach Mike Pressler. And coach, huge game this weekend. There's no other way about it. Regular season finale, huge showdown in Pittsburgh against Robert Morris. On the line, the 2012 NEC regular season title and the opportunity to host the NEC tournament. After playing multiple games in each of the last few weeks, this week you finally have just one game to focus on. How important is that for your team to have a full week of preparation for Robert Morris?
Tremendous. Our ability to take a day off today and kind of regroup after 2 games in 3 days over the weekend. And Robert Morris is just a handful, especially at the offensive end. I think if you look at the stats, they're leading the country in goals per game, and no surprise. They play a very unique style of offense. A bunch of Canadians in there. They play a very much a kind of an indoor game. They're great facing off. They're certainly capable defensively. They've won a bunch of games in a row too. And you look at their scores, 15 goals, 17 goals, 20, 25. And we played them twice now, and we won one and lost one, both in the teens, both shootouts. I'm not sure we want to go there again. Right. If we get to that point, it's that's what they want, and for us at the end of the day, Mike, we got to defend them. Right. I got to figure out a way. We got to figure out a way to defend those guys.
Mm-hmm. And now we talked about how you have the full week to prepare, but it's also, I guess, what you might consider the first true road trip, where it's not a down and back high school trip. I believe you guys are flying down to Pittsburgh. How will that have an impact on this game?
Well, I think the ability to fly as opposed to a 13-hour bus ride is going to be huge for us. It's the end of the semester, so we only miss 1 day of classes basically on Friday, and very, very professional trip that way. And our guys will handle it in a professional manner. But again, with the websites and all the media that's out there, I don't have to say a word. The guys know what's on the line here. There's so many implications. You win the regular season and you host. Right. And you lose, you got to go back out there next weekend and play Quinnipiac, who's seated 3rd right now in the semifinal games. So, it's going to be a tough out. We know it. A lot of respect for Robert Morris. Andrew McMinn doing a great job in his first year. We know their personnel. Maltese there, 46, is one of the best middies in America. They got some attackmen that can put the ball in the goal. So it's going to be just a great interconference battle for, as I said to the guys, all the chips are in the middle. So that's exciting.
So you did touch on it briefly. All time you guys are 1-1 against Robert Morris. Last year they kind of spoiled Senior Day a little bit here in Smithfield as they beat you guys 16-15. Previous year you won in double overtime, 15-14. So you're right, they've been shootouts in the teens, something you guys are trying to avoid. But both games have been just 1-goal games. Robert Morris comes into this one 10-3. They're also 4-0 in the NEC. And as you mentioned, #1 in the nation goals per game, averaging 14.4 goals per game. They came in, though, preseason #3 in the NEC behind you and Mount St. Mary's. And, last year you take a look at the game. It was Senior Day. You wind up losing 16-15 by 1 goal. You guys matched each other goal for goal in every quarter except the 3rd, in which they outscored you 3-2. But Jamison Love only had 5 saves on 21 shots in that game, so not one of his better performances. What other lessons might you have taken from last year's game against Robert Morris?
I did not like how we defended him. We panicked. We did not play as we were coached in that game. Obviously, our offense was not an issue, and it hasn't been an issue, but there's a certain way to defend them. They play a unique style. A lot of 2-man game stuff, very much an indoor style, and they attack and transition maybe better than we do, and they got a great face-off guy, number 35 in the middle. So there was a lot of lessons learned. I mean, we got to stick to the plan. We got to play a little more patient on offense, keep the ball away from those guys, and those are things we're going to start working on Tuesday at practice.
And you mentioned Andrew McMinn, a first-season head coach, but he was the associate head coach over there at Robert Morris for the past couple of years, and he was also a standout goalkeeper at Providence College during his playing career. Do you have any thoughts on Mr. McMinn?
I don't really know Andrew, but I certainly have a lot of respect. He's kind of built that offense there, and then when Bear Davis left Robert Morris, he took over and has done a remarkable job. They beat UMBC, they beat Ohio State. They got some great wins. They're 4-0 in the league. Tough to argue with the caliber of lacrosse Robert Morris is playing right now, and he has a lot to do with that.
Definitely. And now, one guy you won't have to worry about is the two-time NEC Player of the Year, Trevor Moore. I'm sure you guys are happy to see him gone and graduated, but they do have the trio of Canadians. And Keel Matisse, senior midfielder, 34 goals already, and was first-team All-NEC last year, 4th in the nation right now in points per game. Jake Hayes, he wears number 48. He's got 37 goals, and including a 9-point performance last weekend against Quinnipiac, a game they won 25-9, and he ranks 5th nationally. So you have the 4th best guy in points per game and the 5th best guy in points per game to deal with. Throw David Morton into the mix, a junior attackman, another 24 goals. So quite a handful, and it's going to probably put a lot of pressure on your defense this weekend.
You make a mental mistake. You get caught ball watching. You slide upfield when you shouldn't. They'll make you pay. And they've done that to everybody.
Right.
And this not this year, for the last couple of years. So, I mean, we have to be as disciplined on defense as we've ever been if we expect to win this one.
And what game would you be expecting? What type of game, I guess? You thinking run and gun, or is at least that's what they're going to try to do, and you're going to maybe try to slow it down a bit?
It goes into the teens again. It favors them.
Yeah.
You know, that's something, we got to figure out a way to keep this a single-digit game on their side, and that's not going to be easy. On our end, I think we can really attack them offensively. I think we can create some offense there. And then, the battle of the goalies, they're playing 3 actually.
Right.
I mean, they've had 3 different starters over the course of the season, and everybody in America knows who's behind, the pipes for us. So, and then Kevin Massa. Kevin didn't have a great outing against Yale. Yale had a lot to do with that. This Gross, number 35, has been doing very well. I believe he's a senior, and he's a comparable face-off guy. So there's a lot of very intriguing matchups, in this game, and 2 different styles of play. We are so different from them in so many ways. So it's going to be, for lacrosse fans at Joe Walton Stadium, it's going to be a hell of a game, a very exciting game.
Yeah. Now, you touched upon it a little bit, but defensively, they have had their struggles, Robert Morris, as they allow almost 13 goals per game. So teams have been able to score a lot of them, but they've been able to put the ball in the back of the net as well. And looking at that face-off matchup, as a team, you guys have won 64% of your face-offs, number 1 in the NEC, and they are currently 4th, though, in the NEC at about 53%. Mike Gross winning 55% of face-offs. Do you worry at all about Kevin Massa being a freshman versus a seasoned veteran like Mike Gross at the face-off X?
I don't worry about Kevin. He's like a sophomore now. The amount of draws he's taken. We've played 15 games, so we're kind of past a lot of teams' end of the season. Teams have played 12, 13. We're already into his sophomore year. So Kevin's delivered and delivered. He will. I'm very confident he'll be ready for this matchup. He knows it's not going to be easy. They're great there, and we think we're great there.
Yeah. And how do you view the EMO options here in this game? Your man-up unit versus their man down, and vice versa.
Well, our man-up has not been up to par. Brad Ross is upset by that. We went 0 for 5 in the Yale game. I think we were 2 for 5 yesterday, or 2 for 6, and we scored 10 goals against Yale, but none on the EMO. And it's more, not so much what we're facing, but more what we're not doing.
Yeah.
And we got to fix that. We got to add to that. We got to change some things up. We're going to take a hard look at that this week.
And as we do every week, let's narrow it down to the biggest factor to produce a victory, and of course the X factor for this weekend's game.
There's one factor. We got to defend him. We got to defend Robert Morris somehow. Nobody's done it. Nobody's done it. They're 10-3 through 13 games really. We got to do that, and then the face-off battle. They're accomplished veteran versus our young freshman. I think that's the X factor. And can Kevin rebound from the Yale game? That's what we're all waiting to see.
So it should be a great battle. The top 2 teams, both undefeated in NEC play. They battle down in Pittsburgh, 1 o'clock this Saturday, as the Bulldogs head down to challenge the Robert Morris Colonials. Coach, thanks for having me on the show one more time. Thanks for watching the Mike Pressler Show here on Cox Sports Television.